Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Safe to Bloom podcast. I'm your host, Gabrielle Bailey, and I'm excited for you to be here today, as always, okay? I'm always glad when you're in the room with me virtually. It's amazing. It's beautiful. I don't care if you're in your pajamas. I don't care if you're in your work suit. You look good, huh? You look good, girl. You look good. Yeah, so I I meant to do this last week. It skipped my brain last episode. I'm sorry. Episode. I launched a Facebook group. Yes, I did. It's called the Safe to Bloom Community, and it is open for women to have a safe space to learn, to grow, to foster community, to receive what they need, and to just have a safe space, because we don't always have a safe space as we are becoming. A lot of times we just kind of embrace like the end result process, and we embrace, that's pretty much the part that we get excited about the most. But all of the growth, all of what we go through is important and should be validated, should be talked about, needs to be expressed. There are other people who are going through what you're going through. So I wanted to cultivate this space for you to be able to express yourself, for you to be able to see like-minded women like yourself who love God, who have a heart for pursuing God and doing the things that the Father has asked them to do while on their journey of life. Because again, we're always becoming, we're always blossoming. The thing about like a flower is like it's constantly blooming, right? Like it goes through a process, it blooms, it's beautiful, and then it goes through that cycle again. So we're constantly going through a cycle in life where some seasons we're going to be blooming, some other seasons we're growing, some other seasons some things are dying off. But throughout that entire process of our walk in God, you don't have to do it alone, and you get to do this thing with community. So I wanted to create this safe space for you, and I hope that you will join. I'm gonna have the link somewhere. If it's not in the caption, it will definitely be, already is, on the website. And I'm excited for this. This is kind of related to what I'm talking about, but not really. I was nervous about creating the group because I created a group 2022, I think. Yeah. Or 2023, something like that. And I just wasn't in the headspace and wasn't ready to do the things and to lead and to oversee. And I ran away from it, and I just didn't show up and do the things that God asked me to do. And I just was not ready. And so I decided to close it because I was just like, it's just sitting here, y'all just looking at each other. Like there's no momentum. I'm not building anything. But I've gone through a process. I've healed, I've grown, I've overcome, and I've decided to be obedient and to give God my yes. And so this is what this includes. And so I want to do this. And I want to encourage you that if you've ever done something before and God is bringing that thing back for you to do, like you get to do that. And you get to have all those emotions and feel all the things that you're feeling, because it is a lot. You know what I'm saying? You went through it. It might have failed or been dropped or people left. I don't know what it looked like for you, but you get to do it again, and you get to do it with joy this time. And you get to do it with the Father in a different capacity. You are not in the same spot that you are now that you were then. When you first started it, when you first started leading, when you first started teaching, when you first built that business, when you first partnered with whoever, child, okay? When you started doing the things, you're in a different season, you're in a different light, and you get to show up. So do it anyways. It may be a little scary. You may have your own little feelings. Honey, I get it, okay? Because I was like, now, Lord, because he's got this little track record with me right now where every time I get comfortable in something, and not in like oh, things are never going to change comfortability, but like, oh, okay, I'm getting used to this. I'm getting used to having a podcast. This is cool. Great. Now you're going to start writing every Wednesday on Substack. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, I got this. Oh, yeah. You're going to be having prayer twice a week. One virtual, one in person. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm getting on track. BT Dubs. Here comes the Facebook group. Big dog be treating me like that. And you know what? It's his will. He knows everything that's needed, everything that's necessary. And so I'm just leaning to the Father and trusting what he said to do. And even though, again, I have to a level experiences before, this is new. I am not the same person that I was when I first created this group. Well, that group and this group is something completely different. Yes, both of them were catered to women, but this is just different. And I'm excited to go on this journey with y'all. So 18 hours later, I hope that you join me and the other women who are part of this amazing community, because it is our safe space to bloom. Whatever stage in the bloom you're at, it's a beautiful process because God is in it. And that actually does align with my topic for today, because I realized that my response to things needed to be checked, because I would say yes to God and do the things, but my response, whether verbally or internally, however the response was coming out, didn't really match my yes to God, and it wasn't really producing what I needed it to produce. And it's actually holding me back in some ways, because I was too busy being inside of my head and trying to simulate things and wait for things to align and be perfect and all this other stuff. And I wasn't trusting in the Father in the way that I should have. And it was holding me back. And I have a responsibility to make sure that my response is correct. I wanted to read this. I would be in a place of pursuit, but then I would become frustrated after waiting or expecting, and my response would shift. Instead of being one of praise or gratefulness, I became frustrated. I would become angry. I would become sad, right? And these are real life emotions, but my response shouldn't be always triggered by what I am experiencing and what I'm going through. I still have a responsibility to reply in holiness. I still have a responsibility to come with praise. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just be like, every single time it gets hard, just be like, oh, I hate this. Oh, this is so stupid. Like, my flesh may not enjoy it, because let's be honest, she never is, right? I may be experiencing something like creating a group that is similar to what I did before and feeling like I failed. So why would we be doing this again? Like, I may be experiencing some things that are real. They're real emotions, but I have to check my response and how I reply to God. My actions should match my yes to God. I can't just give God my yes and then my internal thoughts are trash, or the way that I speak about my season is trash. I have to speak life and life abundantly. Child, I'm getting aside ahead of myself. Oh God, he's not only looking at if you will move, but how you will move. What you are saying, thinking, and entertaining is all a part of your process. We have a responsibility to show up in a certain capacity. We have a responsibility to guard our mouths. We have a responsibility to be whatever God is asking us to be, and to show up however God is asking us to show up. And it's not always fair. And sometimes the weight feels heavy, but we still have a responsibility to carry that well. And we don't have to carry it alone, but we do have to carry it. Because God is requiring something from us in this season. And not even really, honestly, truly, not even just in this season, right? I'm speaking about like where we currently are in life and just what is going through at this period in time. But honestly, we always have a responsibility to carry the weight and carry the weight well of what God has given us. That doesn't mean that we have to, carry all the burdens and all that stuff, but we have to carry well what God has given us. We cannot simply just abandon or drop it because of what we are experiencing and what we're going through. But we have to show up. We have to watch our mouths. We have to watch our minds, because we can't let it just go haywire and go off its rocker because of what we are experiencing. We have to remain planted, and we have to remember that if God has, I feel like I say this a lot, and sometimes, quick side note, sometimes I feel like I just keep repeating stuff, but it's like, it's what we need to hear. It's really what we need to hear. We might be experiencing a lot of different things. We might be going through a lot of different things, but we still have to show up. We still have to let God be God. We still have to do what He is asking us to do. It may be hard. It may be difficult. It may be challenging. It may be confronting some things that you didn't expect to confront. It might be triggering up some old things so that it can be dealt with, but you still have to check your response. You still have to make sure that you are showing up and doing what God is asking you to do, because He trusts you with what He has given you. If He has given it to you, it is because you can handle that. It is because you can go through that. Job didn't think that he could handle all of the hell that he went through. Because at some point, old boy was like, look now, this a lot. But God trusted him to be able to go through his process and to carry everything that he was still supposed to carry. He still had to guard his mouth. He still couldn't be out here just talking reckless just because his family, his children died and his wife left and his friends was talking reckless and the animals just gone and went on be with the Lord. Just because life is life and then things are happening doesn't mean that you get to just drop your responsibilities and not do it anymore. We have to check our responses. We have to check our heart. What is your heart posture? Are you aligned with the Father? Are you in agreement with the Father? Or are you too busy trying to word curse your season because you simply don't understand? What is your response? Do your actions fully align with your yes to God? I would give my yes to God when He asked me to do something, and I'd be like, you know what, Lord? Either I've been fighting it, or this is what you say, this is what it is, and yes, I'm going to submit. And then as soon as something would come up, now all of a sudden this too much. I can't do this. This is stupid. I'm not trying to be here. What is going on? Da, 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 da. My response needed to stay the same the entire time. That's where the delay was coming in, and that's where all the internal stuff was coming in, because my response was not one that I should be responding in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say that I trust God and that I'm going to submit my life to God, but then the second a wave comes that feels a little too wavy, you know what I'm saying? It's, this feels like I might drown. Now all of a sudden, our response has shifted. Now all of a sudden, this week we can't carry this weight. This is too much. Now all of a sudden, we're just turning our backs to God and ready to walk out the door because what is this? I didn't expect this. I didn't think it was going to be like this. I needed this. I wanted that. All these things, right? I would get inside of my head and I would get in the way because I didn't fully trust God. And I was just trying to obey, which is amazing. We have to obey. We must obey. But if we're just simply just doing the work to do the work, but we're not checking our response, we're not checking our heart posture, then that's going to lead to something coming, and now all of a sudden we're thrown off course and we can't figure out how we got here, and all this internal stuff is going on because we simply just did the work, but we didn't check our response. Do we still trust God? Do we still even remember what he said? You doing all this work. Do you even know what you're doing the work for? Are you just doing it because God said to do a thing? Have you remained focused on the promise? What are you exalting at this point? Are you exalting the promise more than you're exalting God? Are you making an idol out of the promise? What is your response? What is your response in this season to where God has you? You got to let him do what he's trying to do, and you have to partner with him. You can't expect that because you gave God a yes and you're doing a little sneak that everything's going to be perfect now. No, we have a responsibility to still show up, to still check our heart, to still make sure that we are aligned with the Father. Because if he pivots, guess what? We have to pivot too. We have to make adjustments. I was not expecting to start this Facebook group at the time that I started it. I expected this to come much later down in the year. But then Facebook started acting funny with this whole live situation that it's got going on, where after 30 days, the lives are going to delete themselves. And it became apparent to me that something was going to have to be built, and some other stuff that I'm working on that is going to be for the community. Like I realized that I was going to have to start pivoting a lot sooner than what I expected. And I have to make sure that my response in the pivot is not one of, I can be frustrated, right? I can be like, this is a lot, this is overwhelming, but I'm not going to lean into that emotion. I might feel that emotion, but I'm not going to stay there. That is not my place where I reside. I am not going to reside and claim that my life is just overwhelming and this is intense and I don't know. And you know what I'm saying? I might feel the feelings of what I am going through, but those feelings do not have control over me. I get to lean into God and go through this process with him. I don't have to do it alone. I don't have to rely on myself. I can use my community, and I can heavily lean on the God who created me, who placed me on this earth to fulfill this purpose. You know what I'm saying? Now, all of a sudden, it's the world is ending because I have to put in more time and do more work because I had to pivot. No. First off, this is news to me. This ain't news to God. He been knew. So if he knew, right, and he called me to accomplish and to do this, then guess what? That means that I'm Gucci. That means that I'm good and I'm great. And I'm protected and covered throughout the entire process. I may not always feel that way, but because this is God's process that he's bringing me through, not Gabrielle's process that she's bringing herself through, because this is a process I'm going through with God, things are going to look different. Things are going to be, I'm about to say amazing. Yes, but it's just going to be different. It's going to be different. It's going to be good because it's a God thing. So I get to lean into him. Are we sitting and waiting when we should be working, or are we working when we should be resting? What is your posture? Because again, it's not just what we're saying that matters, right? The stuff is coming up and now I'm trying to word curse my season because I don't understand and it should be this and I think it's that and all this other stuff. But our actions can say a whole lot too. your actions can be your response. You say, I trust God and I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to build this thing, and you moving so slow. Like, these turtles looking at you on this beach like, I mean, 85 of us don't pass you and you still sitting here twiddling your thumbs, walking real slow. And you can run to the water, but you want to sit up here and walk slow. What is your response? What is your actions telling you? Or are you trying to go, move, do, and you really should be resting? You should be leaning into the Father a lot more instead of trying to concoct all this stuff and figure out all these things and put things into trying to put things into your own plan. He didn't ask that. He didn't ask you to do that. He really didn't. But because you are doubting what God has asked you to do and where he has placed you, now you are doing the work, but you've created some sort of like contingency plan. Like, if this don't work and all this stuff don't work, then maybe I'm going to do this. So now you're overworking yourself because you're trying to create your own version of how things should work. Or you're just taking on a whole lot of stuff and making yourself very busy, but not. And you're working on what God asked you to work on, but you're still not really focusing where you need to focus because you've kind of adjusted your time and your intentionality and where things are supposed to go. Your actions can speak just as loud as your words. What are you saying? What are you doing? What is your response? We have to understand, we have to understand what God is asking of us. How is he asking you to show up in this season? How is he asking you to respond in this season? How is he asking you to deliver in this season? What is God's ask of you? And he gonna tell you. He might not tell you initially, but throughout your process, you gotta ask him. And he gonna tell you, okay? I got so many names. Oh my gosh. We gotta learn to stay the course. I feel like I already talked about this. I started to, or I did a little bit, but I do want to touch on this. So let me see how I can make this shorter. I'm just gonna read it. So I would feel encouraged to go on and persevere with whatever God was asking me to do until the waves became too hard. Then I was ready to quit, and I would question God for what I was enduring. His promise never changed. My response did. And when my response shifted, whether verbally or throughout my actions, this gave ground for the enemy to come in and to plant stuff that was never supposed to be there. And now not only am I internally struggling because I either don't fully trust, or I'm upset, or I think it should have looked this way, and think it like all this stuff is going on, right? But now he's planting stuff that's just feeding what I'm already experiencing internally. And he really didn't have to do too much because I already laid out a foundation, and he's just kind of planting on top of that because my response came out of alignment and agreement with what God said and where he's planted me and where he's taken me. And now I'm trying to do my own thing. And so he's just coming in and just casting these seeds all throughout the place. And now I'm overwhelmed, and now I can't really function. He didn't really need to do too much. He's just waiting for me, for my response to change so that he can do what he wants to do and get me to get off course so that I don't fulfill the will of the Father and either have to go through that again or I'm delayed. He's a little sneaky thing, but sometimes we do too much and he's like, oh, bet this is perfect. Let me just pull up. How can you know what God is doing and trust all of it if you blow up or try to run away when you don't see him moving how you want him to move? I had a little vegetable analogy. I don't even think, because I'm looking at this time. I'm not trying to keep y'all here for 18 hours. Maybe these podcast time will be a little bit longer in the future. At this periodically time, since I am editing, and I also don't want to be talking for 2 hours, it's not. Basically, the vegetable analogy was like, if you try to plant a vegetable and you don't see it growing at a specific time, you can't keep trying to uproot it and get somebody else to take over and do all the things because you're tired of not seeing it grow the way that you want to. You still got to be responsible for making sure that you tend to that plant, that you're tending to that vegetable, that you're tending to that flower, whatever is being grown, and you're not messing it up because you don't see it happening the way that you want to. I'm going to end on this. Our emotions can go through a lot of things, right? And I do want to point out that it matters. What you're experiencing, what you're feeling, it is valid. So I don't want to take away what you are feeling, but I just want us to be reminded and to really grasp and understand that just because we are going through, because we are experiencing things, because we are seeing things in a certain perspective and a light, that doesn't mean that our response has to come from that place. You might be experiencing rejection, but you don't have to come from a rejected place. You might be experiencing fear, but that does not mean that you have to partner and align with fear and now your responses and everything you do is coming from that place. You may be upset and be in your feelings. That does not mean that everything you do has to come from a place of anger. Can you believe God even when you don't see it? Can you believe God even when it hurts? What is your response going to be as you go through, as you grow, as God does an amazing work in your life? What is your response going to be? Are you going to continue to allow yourself to be stuck and frustrated because you think it should look a certain way and because you are determined for things to go the way that you want to, or you're tired of going through what you feel like is this never-ending cycle and you thought that like what you are feeling is valid, but we don't have to remain in that place and we don't have to function from that place. You can feel that and you can surrender and give those feelings to God, but you can't live there. Your response to what God is asking you to do cannot always come from that place. Woo! My God, that is it. I love y'all so much. We'll be back for another episode. We always gonna be back. I don't know when a break is coming. And you know what? Let's just be honest. I'm not even concerned about it. When I took that little break, I actually missed this. I was like, oh my gosh, I missed my little purple wall. Is this purple? It's like a blue purple situation. Oh my gosh, I missed my wall. Also, she's still straight. But next week we're coming back. Praise God. All right, I love y'all. I will see y'all next time. As always, please take care of yourself. Check your response and lean into God. He will carry you through this season. He will carry you through this process. He's got you because he knows who he called and why he called and all the things. All right. Love y'all. Bye.